Hi, welcome to Gene Rants. I'm Gene, and today we will be talking about our Democratic friends' favorite subject, at least of late, and that would be gerrymandering. Now, I'm recording this on Monday. You're seeing it the day after, and well, I'm getting a late start today, so I haven't had much time to follow the news. But my understanding is that the 50 or so Democrats who left Texas, the Texas House members who left to prevent the House from having a quorum in order to pass legislation that would rearrange the congressional districts in Texas, and that in turn would add five, probably, I mean, you never know till you have an election, but probably would give Republicans an additional 5 seats in the National House, the U.S. House of Representatives, and Democrats pretty mad about that, and that's why 50 of them left. And they've tried this trick before. It always fails. I mean, you can only stay out of your state so long. If you're a legislator, sooner or later you have to go back and do your job. Anyway, so they did go back. Hopefully they will do their job. But the reason I bring it up today is, well, there is a threat from, now what Texas did, first of all, it wasn't some idea that they had to just redistrict in mid-cycle. You're supposed to wait for the census in 2030. They're doing this obviously in the middle of the decade, and there seems to be some kind of conventional wisdom that the Republicans in Texas decided to do this just because they wanted to create more House seats. No. They are responding to a warning that Texas got from the Department of Justice, that they're very probably in violation of the Constitution, because they are, I guess they found 5 districts, the DOJ found 5 districts that were created, that are race-based, that were created to create a minority districts. Now that is unconstitutional, and I believe there's going to be another Supreme Court case litigating this issue, but you cannot, I mean, the gerrymandering happens a lot, as you'll see in a moment, to give one party an advantage or another, but you're not supposed to discriminate for or against on the basis of race, and it doesn't matter which race you're discriminating for or against. Now, that's why Texas is doing the redistricting, but you have a threat so far from, the funny one is from Illinois, but there's one from California. Governor of Texas is saying, well, if you're going to redistrict Texas, hey, Texas, if you're going to redistrict, we're going to do it too, and add 5 more seats to offset the 5 Republican seats that you're going to have. Now, the problem that they have is what Texas does is legal. What California wants to do is illegal or unlawful. They have their state constitution. An amendment was voted on by the people of California to create an independent district. Same story in New York State, and an independent district that is supposed to create the districts. Every time you have a census, you have to change the districts around because populations change, people move in and out of states. So, and the House of Representatives, they are based on, they're always 435, but how many states get how many, which states get how many, that depends on population. You probably know all that, but maybe not. If you're an unlawful alien, unlawfully in this country, you may not know that. And if you don't speak English, you may not even understand anything that I just said. And we'll say for the rest of this vlog. But another subject for another day. For today, the governor wants to have a special election to reverse this constitutional amendment, and the polls are going against changing anything. But even if Gavin Newsom, the governor, were able to get this changed, California is so gerrymandered already that it would be very hard for him to add any more Democrat seats, and the same true for other states that are planning to do or threatening to do the same thing. And we will talk about some of them. I'm going to show you a list here to show you how hypocritical it really is. That's why I say in the title to this vlog, look in the mirror, Democrats, if you have a complaint, if you want to get rid of gerrymandering and you have a problem. And, well, I guess, for you unlawful aliens out there, those of you who speak and understand English, what gerrymandering is, it's actually illegal. What it is, you're supposed to, when you divide up these very congressional districts and you create them, they're supposed to be kind of self-contained, like squares or circular, but basically kind of compact. But sometimes you'll have a state where a state will find, well, there will be some say, well, Democrats, that's what we're really talking about. Why beat around the bush? So you have a lot of Republicans and you have some Democrats down here, the lower part of the state, and some Democrats way up there. Neither one enough where they are to have a Democratic majority. So they'll take this bunch of this group here, and then they'll just go along a highway or something, make a little strip about this wide, and go all the way up to capture those other Democrats, and then all of them combined. Then you have, and because that strip in between is so narrow, you're not really adding any Republicans, and presto changeo, you have a Democrat district. And actually, you saw the thumbnail. You can see, looking at that map, how some of the crazy kind of shapes that some of those districts have. And those are ones that Illinois created in order to create more Democrat districts and therefore have more Democrat representatives in the House of Representatives than they would be entitled to based on the percentage of Democrats in the state. And I mean, you think that example is bad. We're looking at a list of states. These are all Democrat states, are all blue states. And in the left column, the two columns, in the left column, you see the percentage of the vote that Trump got in the last election. And in the right column, you can see the number of Republican seats in the House of Representatives that the Republicans have, how many Republican House seats. And as you can see, going straight down that column, they are all zero. So let's take them one by one. And these are not states, by the way. There are some states, such as Wyoming, that where the population is so small, they get only one representative. So if you have only one, it obviously can be you're not saying anything if that one state goes to a Democrat or a Republican, because there's not enough. You have two. And, well, if they're entitled to two and it's 50-50 Republican and Democrat, but you have both of those districts are Democrat, then that's what we're talking about. So here we see, going down, Trump, Massachusetts, he got 36% in the last election. How many Republican seats in the House? Zero. And one thing I can mention about Massachusetts has had several Republican governors. So Republicans can actually win. There are enough Republicans in Massachusetts with some Democrats to elect a Republican governor. I mean, one really well-known one, George Romney. And then also Scott Brown was a Republican senator from Massachusetts. So you see, there are Republicans, enough Republicans in Massachusetts that Massachusetts should have at least one seat. Connecticut, 41, well, we'll call it 42% Trump vote and not one Republican seat. Maine, 45.5%. And that would be no Republican seats. New Mexico, we'll call that 45.9. We'll call it 46% of the vote went to Trump in the last election. Not a single Republican seat. New Hampshire, we'll call it 48% Republican, and not. I mean, New Hampshire is a real purple state. It used to be red. That's my memory. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Years and years, decades ago. And actually, one of the reasons that it's bluer now, it's not completely blue, but they've had Republican governors, Sununu, not John Sununu, his son, but Sununu, I don't remember his first name, but he was Republican, and he was governor. Maine had a Republican governor not too long ago, I believe, but New Hampshire, 48% Republican, and not one Republican House seat. So you see Democrats, well, I mean, well, those of you who are, well, even if you're a Democrat, you have to see the hypocrisy. You have to see the hypocrisy. So if you're complaining about Texas gerrymandering, and I think I mean, I would call it redistricting. As I said, it's not always illegal, but they're calling it gerrymandering. And if they're going to do that, and then Texas is going to do it, and all these states have done it, these blue states have done it. Well, Ohio is thinking of doing it. Indiana is doing it. And if all these, the point is, as you see, all these states that I just listed, if you're going to get back at the Republicans in Texas, how do you do it? You have 0 Republican seats, and you're seeing similarly in other states, even such as Illinois, where there are a tiny, smidgen of Republican seats. So how much more can you gerrymander that state? And so on and so forth. And if all these other states, my understanding is if other Republican states follow, which they should have done a long time ago if the Democrats are doing it, if these other states follow Texas's lead, that the Republicans would win a lot. It would increase their majority. It would hurt the Democrats if the Democrats want to play this game. But as usual, Democrats don't think ahead. They just want to get through the day, whatever gets them through the day, and they don't worry about the implications of what they're doing and the potential repercussions in the future. And I'll throw in, this is a little, it's related. It's not the same thing, but it's related. Trump is, he wants to, the Democrats are fighting it. He wants to take a mid-decade census because the other one was inaccurate, and he wants to not count. You may not have known this, but the unlawful aliens are counted in the census for representation in the House. So you have 20 million. Biden lets 20 million people into the country, and then to add insult to injury, they go to red states such as New York, California, and they get and those states get additional seats because of how the census is taken. So Trump is not going to put up with that. Whether he can do that legally, we will find out. But definitely, it's worth trying. It's worth challenging, and it would go all the way to the Supreme Court. I imagine California has so many unlawful aliens that they would I was going to say a 4-letter word, but I can't say. We'll say crap load, feces load. They will lose a whole bunch of seats in California would, not to mention the number of people leaving the state. They're going to lose in the next census. They're going to lose states anyhow. But if suddenly unlawful aliens were not counted for representation in the House of Representatives, California would lose a whole lot of seats. So you can see why they're kicking and screaming, and you can see from that chart that I show you why I don't care if they're kicking and screaming. I personally, at least. Do you care? Well, if you care or you don't care, your comments are welcome in the comments section below the video, because that's it for today. Comments welcome. Share this video with anyone you think would benefit from it. But most of all, come back and see me again. I'd love to see all of you again. Until I do see all of you again, bye.